Hey Dunchbags, what's going on? It's Landon Remixes here, and welcome to my review of the debut album from the world-famous French DJ and producer DJ Snake. This one is called Encore. I'd have to say my history with DJ Snake has been a bit of a messy one. I actually found out about him from a music festival livestream. I'm pretty sure it was the Ultra Music Festival 2013 livestream. At that time in my life, I really wasn't into trap music. Obviously, times have changed because currently it is one of my favorite genres in music overall. But when I first found out about DJ Snake, it was actually around the time that his track Bird Machine released on the Jeffrey series. The Jeffrey series actually has been monumental in shaping a number of DJs' careers, including Yellow Claw, etc., Brills, and of course DJ Snake. However, later in that year, DJ Snake released the monumental Turn Down for What with Lil Jon, and from there his popularity just absolutely exploded, as if he wasn't big enough after Bird Machine. And successive track after track, he just got bigger and bigger. From that one, we got Get Low with Dylan Francis, then of course there was the smasher You Know You Like It remix with Aluna George, and then there was the absolutely monumental Lean On with Major Lazer, which is probably the biggest track of his career. But following that point, DJ Snake started to shy away from trap music and go a little bit more into indie dance and pop, probably thanks to the success of Lean On. The first of these was the single Middle, which I've been absolutely in love with since day one. That single was announced to be the precursor to some kind of album, but he didn't give much more details after that. And following that, DJ Snake released the Propaganda Remix album, which had remixes from a ton of big names, including Kill the Noise and TJR. But none of them really impressed me as much as the original, which is why I'm probably really stoked that the original of Propaganda made it back onto Encore, although I didn't actually know that track was going to make the album initially. So in my mind, the second single on the album was the track Talk, which kind of seemed to follow the footsteps of Middle, of course, with the heavy vocal chopping that DJ Snake likes to do, as well as its closer indie dance sound. The thing about Encore is that I'm just so torn in a number of directions. I really don't know what to think about it. I definitely don't want to say this album is amazing, because that would be a huge overstatement. I really like the amount of diversity in this one, although I do think it plays to his downfall in some parts on this album. DJ Snake seems to be caught between three places, and he can't really decide which direction he wants to go. In one place he's caught with that same indie dance style of Middle and Talk, and the new track with Justin Bieber, Let Me Love You, and then of course that's taking influence from songs like Lean On way back last year. And then in other spots evidenced by Propaganda, Sahara, Ocho, Cinco, and Pigalle, you'd kind of think he's going to make a full album of EDM bangers, but he's not. And then from there, there's an entire other section of songs that seems like he just wants to produce club hip-hop music. And like I said, some of these definitely do serve to bring out the overall diversity of the album, but it's just very hard for me to concentrate when he's trying to fire into so many directions, especially when there seems to be no rhyme or reason to the track listing on this thing. There are a number of really great features on this album, but there are also a number of letdown features on this thing. I think one of the best examples of this comes in terms of the lyrical department, which really serves to not shine so much on some of the club hip-hop tracks. For example, on the track Oh Me Oh My, which features Quavo, Gashi, and Travis Scott, Quavo says in his verse, and I quote, "Oh me oh my, I know these expletive, some small fries. Oh me oh my, I serve a expletive like it's Five Guys." Some of these appearances are just so lackluster that I really can't deal with them. Another spot on this album where this shows up is the track Let Me Love You with Justin Bieber, and of course DJ Snake had to get a Justin Bieber cut on this one because Justin Bieber has just been blowing up in the EDM scene over the last year, especially with his appearances with Skrillex and Jack U. In fact, most of his last album, Purpose, was centered toward an EDM sound, so obviously DJ Snake would want to get him as a feature on this one, but I honestly think Justin Bieber's appearance on this track is one of his worst in the last couple months. Just following Cold Water, probably with Major Lazer. I just really don't think this song is that special, and honestly, the biggest pick I have with it isn't necessarily the terms of the vocals, it's the production on this thing, which actually uses the same vocal sample as the Turn Down for What, which was a huge turn off for me. I just really don't know how to deal with that one, and obviously the song's going to blow up, but it just bugs me a lot. I really didn't love any of the club hip-hop tracks. I think my favorite of the bunch is probably The Half, featuring Travis Scott, as well as Young Thug, who both kind of seem to add something to this album at least. Other than that, there are still some pretty monumental features on this album. Skrillex features on the track Sahara, Ocho Cinco has Yellow Claw. Just talking about Sahara really quick, I think this track had a lot of potential, but I actually haven't really loved a lot of Skrillex's collaborations with other people outside of Jack U. If you guys remember my review of the last Dylan Francis EP, This Mixtape is Fire, you'll remember that I really didn't like Skrillex's appearance on that one either, and a lot of his recent appearances just really haven't done much for me. This one, on the other hand, I actually feel like is okay. I didn't really like the first sequence of the drop, but other than that, I like the rest of the song. I really like the second part of the drop, which is more of a minimal MOOMBAHTON sound, which I thought sounded super, super cool, along with its little screeching samples used out throughout the drop. Pigalle featuring Moxie is an absolutely huge electro house track. Definitely not something that I expected to hear from DJ Snake with this album, but it absolutely kills. Probably one of the punchier electro house tracks I've heard in the last couple years, honestly, and probably one of my favorites. Kind of reminds me of Knife Party's old music, but this one sounds pretty good. I want to say I love Ocho Cinco a lot, but the influence from Yellow Claw is so overwhelming in this one, it's really hard to deal with. In fact, this one sounds almost identical to me with the track Jungle Fever that Yellow Claw did with Snavs. Other than that, I thought this one made a really impressive and catchy hardstyle track, and probably one of the better tracks on the record. This album actually features Bipolar Sunshine in two different places, both in Middle and the track Future Part 2, which is kind of DJ Snake's take or remix on the track Future Part 1 by Bipolar Sunshine, and if I'm gonna be real, I actually liked Future Part 1 a bit more. In terms of production, I do like how DJ Snake twisted it for this album because it definitely combines well with the other tracks on this one, but like I said, I do like the original a little bit better just in terms of sound. I feel like this one was a little bit overproduced. But toward the end of the album, we get the song Here Comes the Night featuring Mr. Hudson, which is arguably one of the best tracks on the record. I know I've been on a future bass bandwagon for probably 6 months or something like that. I just really love the sounds that people are pushing out right now, and it's been one of the more creative genres in EDM, especially evidenced by artists like Flume this year. I think with DJ Snake's first attempt with future bass, he absolutely kills it, and it's very evidenced on this track. By the time an artist releases a debut album, they should honestly know what kind of sound they're going for, and DJ Snake seems to be tugged in all kinds of different directions, not really knowing what he's going for with this one, which plays to be one of its major downfalls. However, I definitely don't think this is a bad album, and definitely serves to show DJ Snake's creativity as a producer as compared to his early years. I'm feeling a 6.5 out of 10 on this thing. I think a lot of people are going to love this one, but a lot of people are not so much. Myself, I do have a lot of mixed opinions about it, but I do think it made a fairly solid debut, a lot better than a lot of the EDM debuts we've seen in the last couple years, so I'm pretty pleased with this album for the most part. If you guys have listened to this one, which I'm guessing chances are that you have, make sure to let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll make sure to check out your opinions as well. If for some reason you haven't listened to the album yet, as usual, I have the stream linked in the description so you can go check it out. Anyway, I'm Landon Remixes. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.